Gary Kubiak seems to have a situation on his hands between the offense and the defense. There was an argument, according to all reports, after the loss to the Patriots when he asked if anybody wanted to address the team, and Russell Okun stood up and Aqib Talib told him to sit down, and all sorts of holy heck broke loose in the locker room. What happens when an offense or one side of the ball performs in a way that's a winning way and the other one does not, Steve?
Yeah, that happens, because a lot of times your money is spent on one side of the ball and not the other, and so you're going to get a difference in production. You hate to have in-house fighting, that's for darn sure. General Patton once said, if the troops aren't bitching, they don't care. But, that's a team that's a championship team, and they're trying to find their way back. And I'm certain there's some frustration. That's just natural. They'll hug it out, and they'll be on their way next week. That's I think they'll do that.
Did you ever have somebody come up to you and bark at you about the play calling from a defensive side of the ball in the same way that Richard Sherman did to Pete Carroll the night we were there in Seattle?
Defense? Steve? No, I've had offensive guys bitch at me about play calling. Throw me the damn ball. I've had a lot of that, but I've never had a defensive guy say a word about the offense.
So Pete sat down with Richard Sherman for an hour Friday and said that he told him that it was not that's not acceptable, and but he does accept the fact that Richard Sherman has I guess is part of the troops that are bitching, to use the phrase. What do you do though? What do you do?
What he did. He sat down with him. That's the thing to do, because Richard Sherman's a bright guy. He's a reasonable guy. And so is Pete. So the best thing to do was sit down with him and talk it over. And Pete's the boss, and Richard Sherman's the Pro Bowl player with a voice, but Pete's the boss. And I'm sure he'll handle that differently next time. He just wanted to run the ball on the 1 yard line. What's the big deal?
Well, against that Rams front seven,
does that deserve an hour discussion? Run the ball on the one. Come on.
Well, I guess when it comes down to the way that you lost in Super Bowl 49, I guess it does. That's
that brought that up, didn't it?
Of course, yeah. That's what it goes back to.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.